Let's move into a bit more sport, hey? What else?
NBA, yes.
Yeah, NBA.
A lot to cover.
Do you guys want to run through it?
Yeah. We were talking about how close all the teams are sort of for playoff spots.
What are you saying 27 teams look like they could make the playoffs?
Well, realistically, I mean, you could say all 30 mathematically, but I mean, I'm removing Detroit from the conversation, removing Minnesota from the league.
Yep.
And despite our love for Bradley Beal trying his heart out, I don't think Washington can do much damage to anyone. But so you got 27 teams who are legitimately, playing every night for something other than, the millions of dollars or whatever there is,
Just before you move on, I just did see that Russell Westbrook, I think he's got his 7th triple-double for the year, which is 2 less than the record or something for the Wizards. So
for the Wizards, there you go. He's been on the team for 5 minutes.
I wonder how many he got in that year. Yeah. He won the MVP.
Oh, well, if he's averaging it, he would have got
30-odd maybe.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, crazy. So
it sounds like he'll probably own that record, though they're not winning matches at this point.
Well,
fake stat anyway.
Exactly. Ask me, I'll sit down and I'll give you a good conversation about what a triple-double means. But, we're talking about how close it is. I mean, like I said a bit earlier off air, the Celtics are 1 game above 500 and they're in 4th spot in the East, which usually you'd think, oh, God, the East is a shithole. But no, it's actually quite competitive, and every night we're getting crazy points, but we're getting close games and we're getting upsets, which are turning into not upsets because we've got so many good teams actually vying for it.
Yeah, and there's a massive log jam in the East. But if you're not the 76ers and you're not the Bucks, and who's running third? The Nets are third. Yeah, the Nets are third.
Nets are second at the moment.
And let's put the Pacers in that conversation. If you're outside of that, there's a huge,
you're in for playoffs.
Huge log jam.
Absolutely,
and maybe we're putting a line through the Wizards and the Pistons, but
there you go.
From that top 4 down to 13th, anyone's a go.
Absolutely, and if they do a similar thing like the bubble, which I imagine that's what they're going to go towards with the playoffs, and they have those play-in games where it's actually the top 10. Now, actually, if you can finish 10th, you can get into a bit of a playoff situation, which is, we talk about the dog days of the NBA, right now our teams are beating up on teams. Teams are actually having a crack every night, and we're getting the Kings beating, the team. We're getting, the Bucks are on a 4-game slide at the moment, losing to teams that aren't great. So you have to be on every night. You have to bring it because there's games to play for. So, let's run through the last week.
Do you want to run through some results?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mavericks and Pelicans put up a lazy 273 points in 4 quarters.
I wonder what the overs was in that.
You'd be filthy if you took the under on that one. You just have to delete the betting app, I reckon.
Sometimes when you look at 224 as an overs, you go, geez, that's a bit. And then smash that by 50. No overtime in this, mind you. 143, 130. Mavs ran away with this.
I think Zion's been shooting some really good percentages.
Well, it helps when you're dunking everybody. Like, you look at his shot chart is nearly comical if you look at all his green circles.
Dunk. Had to go shoot free throws, miss a couple of them.
Yeah. Dunk. Yeah, exactly right. So and he's a beast. He's a specimen, and they're building their offense around his athleticism, which is great because the biggest worry was he's super athletic. Is that going to translate? Well, the Pelicans said, we're picking you first. We're going to mold our offense around you. And they've got guys like Lonzo Ball who just want to pass the ball, Ingram who could score in ISO. So they're building a team. We're talking about in the West that are a fun team to watch. They've got good young players, all the Lakers players that they've brought over. They're building a really strong core. And like players putting up crazy stats. And again, we can talk about stats and fantasy ruling the game. But, you got someone like Terry Rozier putting up 41. Like, that's awesome. Like, good on Terry for getting his. Like, he's gone to the Hornets. He's their number 1 marquee player. They're building around him. They're not, I don't know, he's just their veteran who's been on the Celtics. Yeah. He was their backup point guard who's now,
averaging 21 points a game.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, he's gone from backup point guard. He's had his shot. He's making good money. Yeah. I mean, I probably could have thrown the Hornets in with that crowd that I talked about. But, that's exciting to see there. The Jazz continue their crazy run at the moment. I mean, I keep discrediting them, but every week we come on, they just keep winning.
Beating quality talent too.
Well, exactly right.
So since the last broadcast, they beat the Bucks, they beat the Heat, They beat the 76ers. So
That's playoff teams. That's 3 playoff teams.
Bucks and 76ers, obviously 2 of the top 4 teams in the
Jimmy,
East
can you
currently.
find out how they did against the Clippers?
And the Heat, obviously last year, the East
Finals, yeah,
East
exactly.
champions.
Reeling at the moment, but still
Everyone
stacked with
keeps
good
saying,
players.
they're not going to stand up to the Lakers. They're not going to. They won't be that number 1 team in the West. They're 20-1, 20-1 since January 7. They're 23-5 before that. Obviously, a little bit of a slow start. They're on an 8-game winning streak, and our boy Joe Ingles, he's playing more minutes than he was earlier in the year. He's been averaging about 33, 34 minutes the last week or two. Donovan Mitchell's looking really good.
And again, we were talking about their team, their construct. It's not built
There's
around.
no star.
Donovan's their best player, but
He's not a superstar.
there's people playing defense that they put up shots, they share the ball around, they play
playing
attractive
team ball.
Exactly, and
Big Rudy Gobert goes up and gets boards.
100%. Doesn't need. It's like there's no diva, there's no prima donna which we associate with the NBA. So
It seems like a great setup.
it's great, and they're playing good ball.
Before we keep singing their praises, how'd they do against the Clippers today?
Yeah, so they beat the Clippers.
Here they go.
114 to 96 to put them on a 9th straight win.
So
There you
improve the stats that we just said to 9-game winning streak, 21-1
21-1
since early January.
I mean, the Clippers are reeling. Can you give us the Clippers record while you're there, Jim?
I think they're still third, aren't they?
They're still third, but they're just. We talk about the Jazz sharing the ball around, playing good ball. The Clippers just seem to be going along. And God, I'm a Lakers fan, of course. I'm going to shit down the Clippers' throat. But
Also, PG and Kawhi have not played every single game.
But that's been the story since they've brought the 2 in. They haven't come in and they thought, well, come playoffs, we'll chuck them in and they'll gel. Hasn't worked yet. There's another 12 months, make them better. I mean, I know the Lakers right now with AD's Achilles, which he's nursing. It's something bad, but he's got to watch it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You don't want to blow it
like
out.
it's
Yeah.
a death sentence. Apparently.
Yeah, exactly right. So they're going to have to take the foot off the pedal a bit, or they share it around. LeBron's going to have to take more heat. He's
Well,
going
we
to
were
have to
talking
do
about
more.
resting them last week. Like, when do we start resting LeBron? Do they get to that point where, like, hey, we're pretty looking good for playoffs when you rest him?
Yeah.
But you don't want to burn him out to get to that point. Guy playing
Exactly
his
right.
18th season.
And when teams are bringing it every night, like we say, like we bring it back, you can't rest LeBron because
I don't think they do that early on. I think if they get towards the end of the year and they're going, we're second, we can't come first and we can't come third, then LeBron.
Then you manipulate minutes.
You have 2
or
nights
you,
off. No worries.
absolutely.
At this stage of the year, I don't think that's.
But that's great. Like how good. Like
That's
there's no talk of resting. You have to play well. You have to be able to.
But as the problem becomes, though, if you burn LeBron out getting
Exactly
to that point.
right.
Like,
I
he's
mean-
played 50 straight games to get to that point, and then he's just like, I'm stuffed.
It hasn't happened for 18 years. So if it does happen this year, then he deserves a bloody blowout, to be honest, because he is MVP. He is MVP right now, to be honest. Like,
Deserves his MVP.
he does. He honestly does.
conversation.
Like, I can't imagine anyone. Well, there is probably one man, and I do need to give him some credit, and it is James Harden. And again, I've been hard on the Nets. I have said they're not going to cop too much. I'm skipping down here. I'm jumping all over the place here. But the Nets have looked so good lately, and
They just seem to gel all of a
they've
sudden.
gel. And Kyrie came out and he said, and their biggest thing is you've got Durant, Irving, Harden. They need the ball in their hands. That's what they do their best. Irving came out and said, I'm the shooting guard. James is the point guard. I don't need the ball every play. And yesterday or the day before, Kyrie went 9 of 11 from 3. He put up some shots. He looked amazing. Harden got 16 assists the other day. Last night he got 12 assists. And it's not so much about the number being 12, but it's the way he's spreading the floor. It's the passing that he's doing. He's giving himself space when we know what he does when he's one-on-one. And then, oh, by the way, there's Kevin Durant, who may be the best scorer that we've ever seen. He's a
Just hanging
7-foot
out
monster.
back there.
And then, okay, here's Kyrie, who's now, settled into the shooting role. Again, isolated. Their biggest thing's been defense. They just signed Andre Roberson, who is one of the worst offensive players I've ever seen. However, he's a lockdown guard. So all of a sudden, these little things that were wrong, they've shared the ball around. They're starting to get better on defense. And yes, it's early days. And yes, it's the regular season. When it comes to playoffs, it's defense. You need to be better on defense. But all of a sudden, I mean, the Sixers are still rolling. We see what our boy Benny's been doing. He put up... And again, we've been talking about Benny Simmons and his stats and what they mean to the Sixers. He's been averaging 14 points a game and they don't lose. He puts up 42 goes off, and they lose a game. so again, stats can be misleading, but it's great to see we're seeing high scoring. We're seeing close scores. We're seeing people get high assists, high blocks.
Competitive basketball.
It's competitive basketball. It doesn't really mean anything, the numbers, but the quality is so high at the moment. You can put on NBA TV, you put on the game, you're going to get a good game of basketball. Absolutely,
Nikola Vucevic, he put on 42 against Sacramento in a win there for Orlando. Just a little thing I wanted to mention. The foreign big men, the foreign centers, absolutely dominating. We've spoken about Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. They're from Cameroon and Serbia, respectively. Vucevic is Montenegrin. Rudy Gobert is from France. Clint Capella's Swiss. Josef Nurkic, I think.
Nice. He might be Serbian as well.
Yeah.
You
don't want to get that wrong around that.
No, it's really. Kristaps as well. We're talking about big man.
Latvian.
And it's that Euro. They respect the big game a bit more. I mean, we talk about the high scoring. It's get as many shooters on the floor as you can, score as quickly as you can. Now, when you get a 7-footer doing this stuff, now you're adding to the American game. You're building this in.
Yeah,
there's still you've got Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis are your bigs, but these guys are your. I mean, there's really no such thing as your traditional center anymore. But these guys are the 7-footer who sit in the middle. They can block shots. They can post you up, and they can go out and kick it and shoot a three. I mean,
it just
apart
seems
from
like
Rubert or Capella, but
it just seems like their skills are becoming more and more silky as big people. And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like that big dumb idiot that's just there to get boards.
100%.
They're actually an offensive threat, whether it's from the perimeter or in the paint, and it's cool to see.
Yeah, exactly right. Just athletes going to work. It's great to see. Yeah.
This is an interesting one, and I know last week we were getting a little bit
to reality.
Daily News, Women's Weekly-esque.
It is wedding week, so we're allowed a couple more.
Let's do some gossip. Devin Booker, he had 36. Phoenix Suns get the win there against Philadelphia 76ers.
Who dropped 2 in a row by the sounds of it?
This is an alleged starting 5 of Kendall Jenner's exes. So she's currently going out with Devin, and before that was Ben Simmons. So that's
good backcourt there. Yeah,
it's a good backcourt.
That's great. Then I think we've got 6 guys total.
You get a player off the bench coming off here.
I think we've got a good team here. Jordan Clarkson.
Who's put up career numbers this year? He's going up. He scored 40 the other day as well.
The sixth man here is going to be hard to pick. D'Angelo Russell, Kyle Kuzma, Blake Griffin. We don't have a true center. That's
like, we're in the modern game here. We can spread out. Blake can play
so Blake's going to have to be the big man.
Yeah, but that's fine.
By the way, if you're not up to date with this is people that have fucked Kendall Jenner.
This is Kendall Jenner's body count. We're going through the body count.
No big men.
Cards on the table. No big men.
I think there is some really big men here.
Yeah, most of these blokes are big men.
All right, so I'm going Griffin. Griffin's going to be my center.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I don't like Ben Simmons as a point guard, so I'm not doing that. I'm going D'Angelo Russell is a point.
Yep.
I'm going Devin is
at the 2, shooting
is
guard.
my 2.
Maybe Simmons at the small.
I think this
Kuzma
is
and Simmons as your forward.
Simmons gonna have to play the power forward. I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then it's out of Clarkson and Kuzma. I know you're a Lakers fan. You'll probably go.
I'll start with Kuz and Clarkson. Obviously, old
excellent
Laker.
6 man.
Good on you, Kendall.
That's a roster. Like if this is like if we're being feminists and she fucked a lot of
power to her. Yeah,
good
she'd
on
make
her.
a great general manager.
Yeah.
Maybe team should look out for Kendall. She got an eye for talent. So
that's excellent. I think if Kendall, if you're listening. We maybe need a 7-footer here. Just take one.
Look for some size. A little bit more defense, I think, as well, Kendall. Someone scrappy. Matthew Dellavedova, single, I think.
Yeah. Shout out to Delhi if you're listening. And then let's just build around that. We need a few guys that play a few minutes.
A few role players,
Mate, that's an unbelievable team.
Well, might go European there, get some European style. But hey, this team could be anything.
Couldn't it?
Shout out to Kendall when now you're listening.
You know how we've been talking about we should get a little 1 minute clip to put on social media? I think that's
Bang,
it.
that was it. Open with that.
All right, run through the last lot.
Luka Doncic. Wow.
Donks.
Look at Donkey.
No.
Luka Doncic. You heard of him? He had 40 points twice this week.
He's been killing it this year.
Yeah, 44 in a loss against the Trailblazers.
Is this his? How long's he been in the league for?
I think this is
Third year?
Third year.
Still
Crazy. It's crazy.
He's crazy.
Some Luka talk. He's unbelievable. The Mavs, outside of him and Porzingis, seem to be a little bit
How you go?
how you going. Be interesting to see how they go. The Denver Nuggets, they snapped the Los Angeles Lakers 7-game winning streak. We're talking about they won 3 in overtime last week.
Another triple overtime game.
Nikola Jokic, triple dub. I know it's not
Still keeping his average up.
not a real stat. He had 23, 16, and 10 in that. Also had 43 the next against the Celtics.
But again, I'm saying no. Put away your pass. Score more. He scores 43. They lose. So again, these numbers are numbers. Yeah. Good on you, Nicola, for being big and weird.
Do you think Jokic or Embiid could win the MVP as a center?
Embiid's got the record. They're not going to give it to a bloke who's on a team that's outside the playoffs or who's. I mean, Westbrook got it because he had the triple double average, and that was. Oh my god, we can't believe.
Should make the playoffs.
They should make the playoffs, which might help. But if Embiid's if Philly are the 1 seed and he keeps going the way he's going, then he might come second to LeBron. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Drew that.
Julius Randle, he cost our punters club big time. Shout out to Daniel Beaumont. Put on this bet. I think he needed 38 combined points and boards out of Julius. Didn't get it the game before this. Then he goes out and scores 44 against the Hawks.
Real dick move, Julius.
The question I had out of this is: are the Knicks okay? Like they're 3-1 in this last week.
They're better than they have been.
They've been at 500 all year.
That said, that in the last week they've beaten the Hawks, Rockets, Wizards. Probably, the Hawks should be a playoff team. I don't think those other two
maybe not so
will
much.
be. They're 14-16. They're below 500, but they are 6th in the East.
Yeah, they've been at 500 pretty much all year. They haven't gone too high. They haven't gone too low. Randall's numbers have been awesome. They've clearly said you're our man and we're going to build around you. It's kind of hard. Like if you're 6th in the East, the Knicks are a different brand because we know if the Knicks are playing playoffs, if Madison Square Garden's packed, basketball's a lot better for that. But are you better off coming 6th in the East, finishing 2 games for under 500, getting swept, or are you better finishing 3rd last and getting a good draft pick like that? And that's what current sport is right now.
You saying we should tank?
Exactly. But they've been doing it for 10 years.
And where's it gotten them?
Exactly. So maybe it's all right. Let's scrap together a team. Let's just win some basketball. It seems to be the current mood for teams. Is just let's just try and win and do our best to win games. Whereas I don't know the way it's been going. You don't want to be the 8th seed because you don't actually benefit that. You don't get you don't get a lottery pick
situation generally.
Yeah. So. Yeah, again, Knicks being good is cool because I've never been alive when New York basketball's been relevant. So if the Knicks and the Nets are playing playoffs, so that'd be pretty cool.
For the record, New York Knicks have not made the playoffs in 8 years. That's pretty amazing considering
shit the East has been.
Yeah, how shit the East has been, and over 50% of the teams have the ability to make the playoffs in the NBA.
And again, if you're going to tank, that means naturally you're going to come around. Look at Philadelphia now at the top of their game. They tanked. They still bombed a couple draft picks somehow. They're at the top now. Lakers sucked, gathered pieces, traded Anthony Davis. So that's how parity works.
It's not that long ago that the Lakers were a fucking laughing
basket case, 100%. But you suffer through that as a fan, hoping that you come on the other side. And if you're a big franchise like the Lakers, that happens. The Knicks are the biggest franchise. It just hasn't happened. I don't think they've won a playoff series since the 90s.
It's been a long time.
And they are the most loyal, the most New York sports fans are the best because they will stick by their fan side, but no matter what, and they'll be the loudest cheers and the loudest
I love my fucking
cheers.
Yankees. I love my fucking Nets.
Go Yanks.
That's a bit off, but you get the idea.
You would as we drag on.
Go Rangers.
I think that finishes up the NBA chat for the week. I think we covered the
on Luca. His second season in the NBA.
Second season. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No.
He was a rookie
Jimmy,
last year.
no, sorry,
I
Jimmy.
think
Jimmy the
it's
stat
third.
man.
Wait, 2019 was his rookie season.
18, 19.
This is his
18,
third.
19.
Yeah.
So this is his
Third,
third.
third.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So he played 19. He's played 2020. This is 2021. This is his third season.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
we've
like-
proved
it's like,
Jimmy's human. We've proved he's human. The first mistake he's made on the Esky. There you go.
He's not a simulation.
I don't think it's my first.
It's
Come on, man, pump me
obviously over there it runs through the winter time
So, yeah.
and into fall. It's akin to an Australian cricket season where it takes 2 years.
Yeah.
But unbelievable, the third-year player to be putting up the numbers.
Yeah, he wouldn't have played
40
200
up.
games yet. Which again,
No, he
game
wouldn't.
numbers
Not even
in
close.
American
No.
sport is miscued, but that's the reality of how this guy's like an NBA, like my NBA player on 2K. Like you create him and you boost all his stats up, and he's just really good. And he's 23. Like, no, he's a human being, allegedly.
21.
Allegedly.
He's 21 years old.
You joke.
Oh, fuck you, Luca.
One year at college, straight out
he's-
into the system in 19. That's
he's-
bananas.